Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Morhonda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown!
Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another one!
Oladipo!
Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three and
He hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. Oh, wow. It was, that was a little loud. Welcome aboard here on this Tuesday. Jim Coyle with you as always. K-Bro back in the house. Kevin Brockway from CNHI Papers back from vacation. How was it?
Vacation? I don't remember vacation.
I thought you were going on vacation.
No, I was at IMS, if you want to call that a vacation. I was covering the Grand Prix, which was a lot of fun. And Colton Herta won that wild race. It was a wet, kind of crazy race up there. And, the 22-year-old pulled it out. And we've got the 500 coming up in a few weeks. And there are going to be some practice laps this week and qualifying this weekend. So that was certainly interesting. A lot of fun to go out there and get my first foray into some auto racing coverage.
Is that your first race of any kind?
I believe, I did the powerboat races back in the day in
I meant auto racing, man.
Auto racing. I think that was my first time covering auto racing. And I'll tell you what, I picked up fairly quickly. Their drivers were very accessible and open and talking about, the cars and that they're very good. I think they're very polished up there in media. And most of them are pretty open. Connor Daly seems like a really fun guy. Like he's from Noblesville and he was talking about his hot tub and stuff and everything like that. And it seems like that there's a lot of colorful characters, and I think they realize that, in order for the sport to grow and gain in popularity that they should be open.
Yeah. I think I'm going to try to look forward to possibly doing the show from Indy the week of the race, either the Thursday or Friday of race week, of race day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Race weekend, rather, which is what, in 2 weeks still?
Yeah. And then Carb Day, I think, is the
Thursday or Friday now?
Friday. Yeah, Friday. And who's
Thursday.
Who's going to be in concert? Morris Day and the Time. Jungle Love, remember that song, 80s, and Rick Springfield.
Wow, we're doing all kinds of throwbacks to the 80s, huh?
Jesse's Girl, yeah.
You wish you had Jesse's Girl?
Of course, yeah. Can I find a woman like that, right?
That's exactly. You know what? That's so funny because last week I was thinking about something. I said, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need.
That's right.
Yeah. And our producer, our crack producer, who does a wonderful job, by the way, but our crack top producer, John, the producer, had no idea what I was talking about. Zip. It's
honestly kind of embarrassing because I consider myself somebody who appreciates music. It doesn't embarrass me as much when it's a movie that I don't know.
I really wouldn't say that. You really shouldn't say that if you're a big music person, then if you miss that one.
That's the thing, though. It's a different. I don't know. Like I said, I do know some Rolling Stones, but not enough to know that that's what that was at the time.
That's like one of the classics upon classics.
Yeah.
Right, K-Bro? Right, K-Bro?
I used to tell it to my godkids when they were young. He'd say, I want this, I want this. I would say, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need, yeah?
I'll own that one, though. I usually don't feel guilty for not knowing stuff, but I'll take the Rolling Stones.
I used to say it to my daughter all the time. That's so funny. Oh my goodness.
I want this, I want that, yeah.
500, the Indianapolis 500 practice starts at 9 a.m. on the Peacock, according to Ross Bunnell, who is he's our race guy.
Yeah.
Jennifer talking about poor John, the producer, Mr. Nickelback guy.
Oh my God, Nickelback.
Oh, he's a big Nickelback fan. You didn't know that?
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he's a huge Nickelback fan.
Evidently, according to the fans on here.
Wait a minute, that
probably is true.
That came from you, man.
We talk about this every time we bring up Nickelback. The only thing that I ever said, and people translate it into saying that I am the biggest Nickelback fan ever, is that Nickelback is basically a newer version of AC/DC. That's what I said.
Whoa. That is the worst. I'm wearing this shirt right now, matter of fact.
And there we go. Perfect.
That is the worst. That is the absolute worst.
It's not even a knock on AC/DC for me. I'm just saying that they sound similar.
Oh my God. That is the worst comparison I've ever heard in music of any kind. That's
and why is it so out of left field to you?
Because that's like comparison of fourth grade choir singer to Celine Dion.
You can't tell me that their music doesn't sound similar.
It does not sound anything similar. Oh my God, AC/DC, this album alone, Back in Black, is one of the quintessential classic rock albums of all time.
And there's nothing, I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
And there is nothing that Nickelback has ever done that sounds like anything on anything AC/DC's ever done. That's the biggest load of crap. Oh, that's the worst take.
Here's the thing. They both make party rock music. And that's where the comparison typically comes from.
Well, you're maybe the only person that thinks that Nickelback makes party rock music.
I bet you don't. I bet you've never heard anything outside of Photograph or How You Remind Me.
Let's put it this way, John. If today was my last day, I would not be listening to Nickelback.
Oh my God, that's the funniest thing.
See, here's Jesse Wickens, and this is not a knock on Jesse Wickens. The only songs people know by Nickelback are the ones they make fun of, like Photograph. Photograph does not sound like something that AC/DC would write. I'm not talking about the ballads. I'm talking about their rock music.
Wait for how can Jennifer hates AC? First of all, then you hate rock music. If you hate AC/DC, if you hate AC/DC, you hate rock music. I mean, AC/DC is the quintessential. It's just.
Here's the other thing too. If you choose to hate Nickelback, you're just choosing to hate fun. That's it. You're hating them because everybody else hates them. There's no
I don't hate
them.
them.
Hate Nickelback.
I don't hate them, and I don't understand why everybody does. As a matter of fact, I like that one song, Rock Singer,
Rockstar.
Rockstar.
Yeah. That's not a bad song.
That's a great song. It reminds me of the summer of, I don't know, was it
2005?
Oh, bull. It didn't come out in 2005.
It came out in 2005, I can promise
you. The band of the 2000s. They're kind of like the band of the 2000s. But the lead singer sings like he's constipated.
Well, I've heard that a million times, but so do several other rock singers.
Maybe he is.
You're telling me that
Jennifer says AC. Whoa. Jennifer's
white trash rock.
She is so off her rocker.
So she's the one who started the pot today in general. She brought up the Nickelback comment, and now she's totally gone against AC/DC.
Forrest Gray going way back. Which
there you go. Chris Lewis is on my side. Burn It to the Ground. That's a good song that will sound like something AC/DC would have written. I promise you. Chris Lewis, you got that one right there.
Jesse's there too as well. I have not heard that one. I'll list that. Five Lefts that heard AC/DC too much in the locker rooms growing up. Hell yeah, baby. That's what we were listening to on the way out.
Yeah.
Every time.
I can't believe this is what we're talking about this morning. Again.
Why not?
No, I love it. I can't believe this is what we're talking about, though.
Oh, that's because you don't like the fact that you're getting.
No. I'm fine with it. I love the comments, and I think it's fun seeing different people's opinions. Pete Clausen says Jennifer's still a little quote unquote high from the Snoop concert.
Hey, I got to give it up to Jennifer, man. She got her picture with Snoop. That's pretty cool. But the one thing she didn't do that I would have done, that I absolutely would have done, and I would have had the picture ready, is to say, dude, I want this jacket. The jacket that he wore in the video where he's getting arrested, it's amazing. Show the jacket, John. Kevin, bro, you never seen it? You've probably never seen this.
Wow.
Check out the Check out that jacket. Check out the back. It's got the banners on the back. He's being arrested, I think. I think this is his video album or something cover. He's got an Adidas shirt on. So he's not, but I've never seen that jacket anywhere.
How about that?
Just pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
But I would have said, yo, Snoop, how about giving up the jacket?
See, I remember back in the day, Luke Campbell, University of Miami, he was a big Miami benefactor, shall we say, and nasty as I want to be in the early 90s.
Like John Ruiz is now?
Oh, yeah. But Luke he used to get arrested all the time. Navarro, they had the obscenity things in the early 90s and stuff. And
Navarro. Yeah. Omar Navarro? Was he related to Omar Navarro from Ozark?
No.
Maybe. Are you an Ozark fan?
No, I've not. Everyone tells me I should see it, but I saw Better Call Saul last night. It was a pretty good episode.
Oh, I watched. I'm on Better Call Saul. No doubt about that. Hey, before I forget, because I did forget when we first started, but of course, brought to you by our good friends at Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington and the Wow Club, which is totally free app to sign up for. Make sure you do that. Go to your Apple App Store or Google Play Store and sign up and start earning Wow rewards today. Wow Club members earn exclusive discounts, dining dollars to spend, and more sent directly to your mobile phone. I've been hesitant to talking about. There's a new brewery coming online in Bloomington and elsewhere. It's Metalworks Brewery, currently Function Brewery right off the square in Bloomington, but soon to be known as Metalworks. And then if you're familiar with Coming Up 37, let's see, it would be it's an area called Judah. There's a stoplight there on 37. It's basically halfway between Bedford and Bloomington. But the brewery part is going to actually be out there. And then where the brewery is now and right off the square is going to be the tap room for Metalworks. But looking forward to that, K-Bro. Another new spot for you. May have to see if
how is the crawfish boil?
The food was great, and Clayton Anderson was great. The weather didn't cooperate all that fun, but they made it work. He was inside. He moved it inside, then it quit and moved outside. And so the music was great. The food was great. Of course, you had plenty of Metalworks beer brews there. So that was great. They've got this incredible truck, an old truck that they've had made for the beer tap truck that you'll get to see throughout the summer. And you get to see it at the tailgating next year. Looking forward to that. Speaking of which, you've spoken to Tom Allen. We're gonna have him one-on-one on Thursday here. So for you, Tom Allen is going to be with us on Thursday, one-on-one. So looking forward to that. Hope everyone's having a great start to your week. Yesterday was a good Monday. The weather, finally getting the weather, Kevin, that I have been complaining about, man. This spring sucked. I mean, it was like 3 or 4 weeks of just crap. Now we're getting this beautiful, you wake up with the birds chirping and it's 62 degrees, a crisp 62 degrees outside. I mean, this is Chamber of Commerce weather, baby.
Yeah, I'm sure some deer outside your door or whatever, and the birds and so forth, the nature. But at the beautiful Eagle Point Studios. But I am, but it was interesting talking with Tom, and I think, it was definitely an off-season reflection for him coming off that 2-10 season. That's what I wrote about, and some of the books that he had himself and his staff read, and some of, his thoughts on the high number of transfers that are on the team. And he feels like, a lot of schools are in the same boat. It looks like Bazelak and Tuttle have kind of separated themselves in the quarterback battle. Zach Carpenter has had a very good spring and looks like he's in line to be the starting center. He's slimmed down, and the defense, Tywan Mullen, who I think is a real key on this team. I think he is your most talented player. I mean, he was the All-American 2 years ago. And it's no coincidence that him going down with the leg problems, I think, really hurt the secondary and why he had that low total of interception and game-changing plays. He's got to be healthy, I think. It changes the dynamic of what you can do in the secondary. When you have a guy out there that's basically can be an island, can, shut down your opposing best receiver, it really impacts the pass defense. So he's 100% healthy. Tom said he held him out for spring precautionary reasons. So I think he's a key guy. And I think he's the guy that, if Indiana's going to have any success next year, he's got to stay healthy in my mind. And he's got to be the guy that he was in 2020 when he was an All-American in terms of, making those game-changing kind of plays.
Losing a guy like, and I'm drawing a blank because I'm getting too old. Micah Mcfadden. I mean, the centerpiece of your defense.
Yeah.
And not just, he's one of those guys that every defense you've got to have a Micah Mcfadden. And I don't mean just by his physical skills. I mean his mental, what he brings to the game, his ferocious appetite for the game. You can tell that he has his insatiable defensive nature. Who's going to step up and be that guy? Because if it wasn't for Micah Mcfadden single-handedly, I think that last year could have been potentially the ugliest season in Indiana football history.
Yeah, no, Micah definitely brought it. I do think it's good that Cam Jones came back, and I think he's a guy that can kind of, maybe not necessarily production-wise, but leadership-wise, step into that role. You're talking about a fifth-year guy who really had, probably his best season last year in terms of tackles, and convincing him to come back, I think, will help. And then you've got Aaron Casey, who's kind of bided his time and waited. You've got Bradley Jennings, who the transfer from Miami, who has experience certainly in the ACC and has started a lot of games for the Hurricanes. So I think those three guys rotating in those two spots, you'll have some adequate, I don't know if you're going to have someone on the level of McFadden, but you'll have some people there that can certainly help and fill in. And I think this is a big year for Cam Jones and a chance for him to be in the spotlight and prove that he's an NFL player, because there were some projections that he could have been drafted in the 6th or 7th round last year, and him coming back, I think, certainly helps. But I think if you look at the defense right now, the two focal points I'm looking at are Cam Jones and Tywan Mullen and Monster Matthews. He's played a lot too. The safety. Those are the three guys that I would say. You look at the secondary at the whole. Jalen Williams also. You've got some guys back there that are experienced and that are going to need to carry the defense. The bigger question mark, I think, is probably on the offensive side of the ball. You just have so many question marks.
Well, we'll talk about it more when we come back. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Tuesday, brought to you by our good friends at BB's Market. BB's Market is your marketplace no matter where you live. Local meat shop, steakhouse, and caterer. With some of the best custom meats around, BB's Marketplace has the largest variety of made in-house products you'll find in and around, and you can order it all online. Visit bbsmarket.com, and you can add that to your app, the Wow Club app, and start earning points on that. Like I said, that helps us. Just join the Wow Club. It costs you nothing. It sure makes us look good, and we really appreciate it. And speaking of which, go to if you're listening or watching on YouTube, please go and hit the subscribe button, because I've noticed about 70% of the viewers on YouTube are not subscribers. Kevin, isn't that crazy? Like 70%. So if you guys would just subscribe and hit the like button, you have no idea how helpful that would be to us and how appreciative I would be. Give myself a follow on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB and Kevin Brockway at Kevin Brockway G1. I like the G1.
The G, baby.
Is that for Guy 1?
Gangster
1. Uh-oh. You heard it, John. Work on it. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Gangsta 1 right after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting,
I don't know that I have time to make another Kevin graphic.
you got to change. That one's not very good. I don't like that one.
Which one? K-Bro?
Yeah, the hat just doesn't. The hat's too fake.
Oh, well.
It's too small.
It's tough to find one that fits.
He's got it. Why is you saying he's got a big ass head?
I've got a big head. I do, yeah. I had one letter writer when I was in Key West. So there was this one letter writer.
And what's it with the monocles you've got on him? You got like some double monocles on him?
They're supposed to be like, shades.
But they're not. They look like double monocles.
Kevin Brockway, who gets information lost in his big but shallow head.
Someone comment that?
Yeah, somebody commented that once. When I was in QS, someone wrote a letter in, back in the 90s when they started my career. They were upset about something that I wrote.
Jennifer says she likes hood rock. What's hood rock?
Yeah, what is hood rock?
Unless she meant to say something else. No, she might have meant to say hard rock.
You mean like AC/DC?
It is hard rock. We're misconstruing a lot here. I never say anything bad about AC/DC unless you just assume that comparing the two.
Relax.
I'm not mad. I'm just having fun.
I'm just trying to tell you, Jennifer hates AC/DC.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. I was talking to her. Or referring to that comment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she meant to say good rock, not hard rock. But I guess it's pretty.
Well, what is good rock? My God, you just dissed one of the greatest rock bands ever. This is one of the greatest. What is?
The reason I defend Nickelback so much is because they were like my gateway into rock music. Without Nickelback, I probably wouldn't like rock in general.
I wouldn't call that a gateway. I wouldn't tell a lot of people that.
There ain't nothing wrong to call it a gateway. I think that's a perfect description for Nickelback as a gateway rock band. They're very accessible. They're not too heavy all the time, but they can be.
The 10 worldwide best-selling albums, period, of all time. The one that on here that just blows my mind, and I can't wait to talk about this.
Oh, this should be fun. Make sure it's an up-to-date. Well, I guess honestly, nobody sells records anymore, so I'm sure it's up to date. All right.
Or on this station every week, Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you on this Tuesday. Thanks a lot for being with us. We appreciate you guys, wherever you are, however you're listening. Everybody down in Evansville on 97.7 The Rough. Hope you guys are having fun on the river. 89.1 The Bro, BWDBRO. Hope you guys are doing well as well. And K-Bro, Kevin Brockway with us. As we were talking a little bit of rock and roll earlier, where did my well, I've lost my stream. Here we go. My comments, because there was a comment I wanted to pull up. What was it? I should have marked it. Daggone it. It was about rock, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. I just pulled this up. All right. Greatest selling, the 10 worldwide best-selling albums of all time. This is not even a rock. This is just best-selling albums of all time. Number one Thriller.
Michael Jackson.
There you go.
That'll probably never be beaten. The only one is a greatest hits in the top 10, but number 2, the Eagles' greatest hits.
Wow.
Pretty good.
I'm an Eagles fan. My daughter, who's on a freaking cruise now, with her mom, but they got to see the Eagles in Houston the other night. I've never gotten to see the Eagles. Not only that, once I remember several years ago, I get a phone call from a friend of mine, just a couple of friends of mine, and they say, "Hey, we got a couple of tickets for the Eagles tonight. They were opening up the Yum Center in Louisville. First concert there." And I'm like, I had Kylie with me, and I should have taken her, but I think she was like 7 at the time. So rock concert.
They just played the Yum Center again the other night.
But anyway, so we were she was like 7. So I'm like, it's probably not going to be a good thing. But in retrospect, I wish I would have taken her. I wish I would have gone myself, and I could have seen the Eagles with Glenn Fry, who is no longer with him, of course. But getting back, I digress. Getting back, the number 3. Do you know what the 3rd greatest selling album of all time, John, is? Of all time, period. Our album, I don't care what genre you're talking about.
Is it Back in Black?
Back in Black. Yes, I'm back in black. How about them apples?
We are on another level this morning, aren't we?
Then number 4, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, of course. Here's the anomaly. Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, number 5.
Many consider that one of the greatest rock albums ever, really, actually. It's not surprising.
He's sold a crap ton. Okay, then number 6 is Whitney Houston and various artists from The Bodyguard, which that was huge. But how about number 7, the Eagles back in with Hotel California, baby.
Who knew the Eagles sold albums that well, huh?
Hey, they were big. But it depends on what, I guess, list you look at. But that one is
okay.
This one has Grease at number 10. It has Fleetwood Mac Rumors at number 9. It has the Bee Gees Saturday Night Fever at number 8.
Bee Gees, baby.
It has the Eagles at number 7. Well, you know what? It's the same. That's the same list because those were the last 3 that weren't.
No Beatles. I'm surprised. I would think
I would have thought the Beatles
Pepper.
too.
Or the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, or the Rolling Stones.
No Beatles.
The Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones never. I don't think they've continued. They never had. I don't think an album that just went nuts. But their music is just. Well, they're living on their old music, number 1, their original music, which it's amazing that hasn't sold more. But I guess
Sgt. Pepper, though, not in the top 10. That's surprising. Or the White Album, one of those 2 should be in the top 10.
Yeah, because there wasn't a lot to do back then, and there was a ton of people buying. So that's wild.
Yeah, that's some wild and wacky stuff.
Wild and wacky stuff. So there you go. There's your throwback to the rock and roll deal. Yes, we have learned a lot about Kevin today, 5 lefts. We certainly did. Let's see. Forrest says Christie from Michigan State signing with an agent, but staying in the draft. But that does not mean he loses his eligibility just because you sign with an agent. So he's still good. Sid, Eagles are the best group ever. They're certainly one of them. You gotta call them that with the album. I mean, hey,
without a doubt, yeah.
Mike's on there.
Desert Highway, right?
Exactly.
Cool wind in my hair.
Johnny, ever been on a dark desert highway?
No, but it sounds kind of fun.
Long with the wind in your hair. You ever been to the Hotel California?
I do like Hotel California.
You've never been there?
No, that's the quintessential Eagles song, I think.
Yeah. Jennifer saw Prince in Evansville. Robert Stadium back in the day. Man, Robert Stadium. Haven't heard that name for a minute.
Raspberry Beret, one of the best songs of the 80s by far.
Wow. Raspberry Beret.
That's an amazing song, yeah.
Not very rocky though.
But a great tune, yeah.
Are you kidding me? Steve Ramsey says he saw AC/DC in Bloomington in the 70s. Get out of here, man. That was with Bon Scott. That had to be with the original. Yeah, that's with the original lead singer, Bon Scott, man.
What do you think of AC/DC with Brian Johnson instead?
There's no way that Tim Tebow is serious saying he likes the Post Malone Ozzy Osbourne release. I haven't heard it, but I would be shocked. But
it's not bad.
There you go.
It's not bad.
I'm not saying it is. I haven't heard it. I just shocks me that Post Malone was on Saturday Night Live this weekend.
He's a character.
Boy, I had never seen him before. He certainly is. What's his story?
His story? I don't know his story. I just know that he came up when I was in high school. That's when he got popular originally.
Really?
A song called White Iverson.
White Iverson? That's a pretty good name.
Is that about Allen Iverson?
Sort of. I guess he's calling himself a White Iverson, if I remember correctly.
When I hear Post Malone, I think of Karl Malone in the Post. Yeah.
So there you go. A lot of basketball references.
See, I never thought of that. Yeah, never. But that's funny. Post Malone in the Post.
This is one of those days I wish we could come back with all these different songs we're talking about, but we can't do that.
Well, yeah, you can. You just do it for 15 seconds, man.
We'll see. Yeah. Maybe we'll try it one day.
Well, try it now. I don't care. I mean, what he's referring to is
those notifications. If you don't, obviously, those of you don't have your own YouTube channel, when you get a copyright infraction, you get a little mark, and then your video gets demonetized.
But you have 30 seconds, man. Just do 20.
Yeah, but some of these record companies don't even want
just you to do music. It doesn't matter what they want. It's what the law is. And you're allowed to do it. So just do it for 20. Tim said he saw Van Halen in 1978 at the Louisville Gardens. Wow. That was an intimate venue for them. I saw them at Freedom Hall in 1984 on the 84 tour. That was kind of cool. Jennifer's more of a Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Robert the Truth in Evansville says he loves basketball. Team that makes basketball team. Had a good morning. So good for him.
Joe Lenardi, latest bracketology is out. Joe Lenardi.
Ed Ross said Ed Carpenter's already blown up his motor within the first few minutes of practice at the Indy Motor Speedway because it just got underway. Can you imagine blowing an engine? But they probably have just all that they want of those.
Yeah.
But so there you go. Ross, are you heading up to who all's heading to the Indy 500? Anybody heading up there? I know they've got concerts. You've got the Snake Pit going this time. I'm planning on going to the 500. I'm planning, like I said, I'd like to. Okay, bro, we need to plan on doing the show up there. Maybe on that Thursday or Friday or both. See if we can find a spot down on Pit Road, baby. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be fun.
Hear that in the background?
Yeah.
That would be awesome. So there's that. But looking forward to the Indy 500. The road course is fun to watch at Indy. And that Grand Prix, that was fun to watch. And then it was wild because of the rain. I mean, the thing about auto racing is, like in NASCAR, is it rains, they stop. Unless they're on a road course, then it's the same rules. They've got rain tires available, and they'll have a window a wiper on the cars that are on road courses.
Actually, they don't have the wipers anymore because they have the new auto screens.
On NASCAR.
On NASCAR, yeah.
Just on the NASCAR cars.
Yeah.
And NASCAR has switched to the Indianapolis road course because the oval track there is just not good for NASCAR. But the road course is exciting. Damn near won by Chase Briscoe from Mitchell last year, which would have been an incredible story. But you've got a lot of Indiana connections in this race. I mean, you've got Tony Stewart and Chase Briscoe, and Jeff Gordon is the vice president at Hendrick. Is it Justin Haley? That's from Northern Indiana. That's now racing on the Cup Series quite a bit. You've still is the Purdue guy from South Bend. I think he's still going. So a lot of Indiana connection. And I was talking about this yesterday, Kevin. How is Indianapolis not the sports capital of the world? It's the racing capital of the world. It is the amateur sports capital of the world. You've got the NCAA there. You've got the Pan American Games there. You've got USA Gymnastics there. USA Swimming is there. There's others and many others. And then you think about all of the AAU action that goes on throughout the summer. Every weekend somewhere there's something going on. And that doesn't include the multitude of baseball that happens around there in the summer. But Indianapolis, no question to me, is this country's sports capital of the world.
Yeah, well, a lot of great facilities, obviously. And then, you've got Lucas Oil, which is really one of, in my 3 years here and getting to cover events there, it really, whoever designed it and whoever, is really well done. I mean, I just think the sight lines there, you go
parking
there.
is easy. I mean, it's really, they set up, and then you add Gamebridge Fieldhouse to that, which they just completely redid. And it was already one of, if not the best arenas that there are.
Yeah. So you've got a lot of venues. I mean, you've got historic Hinkle Fieldhouse, right? You've got even the Farmers Coliseum when they did the NCAA tournament a year ago. You have a lot of places, and you have all these high school gyms that are immaculate. And we've got the Indiana All-Stars coming up next month also, and there's going to be out in Fortville. They're going to play out there, right, for the junior-senior game, and then Southport Fieldhouse again for the Indiana-Kentucky game. So you've got tons of places to go to watch big-time sporting events.
Absolutely. But more importantly, it's a great host. It can host any event, any size, from the Super Bowl down. And they've shown it time again. To me, it is the perfect place to host an event because of Lucas Oil and all that surrounds that, or Gamebridge and all that surrounds that. The downtown is perfect. You've got the restaurants, the hotels, and it sounds like I'm doing a commercial for Indiana. It's not my goal, but we're very fortunate. We're very, very, very fortunate to have that here. I mean, we get to attend a lot of, and I'm talking about even the fans, get to attend or have the opportunity to attend a lot of things that a lot of people don't.
Yeah, and obviously the centralized location too in the country, makes it very easy and accessible travel-wise. You got a pretty good airport too, easy airport to get in and out of. I think that helps. If you've ever flown through Indianapolis Airport, I mean, it's not, tremendously big. It's not tremendously small. I think it's good size. So I think all those factors go into it to make it a really great. But, obviously the granddaddy of them all, the Indy 500, coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm really looking forward to covering my first one.
Yep. Looking forward to it as well. It should be fun. It's gotten, a little more competitive in the last couple of years. It seems like before the difference between NASCAR and IndyCar is, they can't touch. Where the NASCARs, they can kind of beat and bang on each other a little bit. But now it's gotten a little more competitive. It seems like there's a little more passing. It's a little more tighter, and funner. So I'm looking forward to it as well. I can't wait. Let's see. Is it time to take a break? Great, because I don't want to go into a different subject. When we come back, we'll talk about Andy Katz makes a comment on Trace Jackson Davis. We'll talk about that and plenty more. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by our good friends at the Sports Room Court Grill down in Bedford. They had a good time the other night at the Crawl Fest, but you can go down there anytime because they pride themselves on providing their guests with fresh, innovative dishes designed to please your palate and your wallet. Every item on their menu is made from scratch, using only the freshest of ingredients. Great place to catch a game, easy to get to, right in downtown Bedford. Courtroom Sports Grill, back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting Bloomington...
Sound like you had a stroke at the beginning of that live read.
Me?
You said Sports Room Court Grill the first time.
The Courtroom Sports Grill?
You said Sports Room Court Grill the first time you said that.
Oh, well, when you got 1,000 words going through your head, it's easy to.
Yep.
So yeah, I was looking at this. Lenardi bracketology has Indiana as a 5 seed, facing 12 seed Toledo and Albany.
Ooh, at 5-12, that's a nasty matchup. Tell Shannon I said hello, Joe. Tell Shannon I said hello, and you guys tell him to hit me up. He's got my number.
Why is my computer acting up here? There it is. Okay.
The animals. What animals? Man, he ain't going to win. He'll be lucky to finish the 500. He's not good enough. I don't think he's good enough. He's got zero shot at winning.
Root for Jimmy Johnson. He would join an exclusive list, right? He and Andretti to win the Daytona.
No chance. This dude, I don't think that he's as good a driver as Kurt Busch, who did this, who did both. Tony Stewart did both. What's her name did both, but it wasn't the same day. Yeah, but she didn't do them both. She's done them both at different times, like Jimmy is. The other guys did it same damn day. Robbie Gordon did it a couple of times.
Well, Jimmy
by the same day, Kevin, by the same day, what I mean is they ran in the Indianapolis 500, which started at noon. And when that race finished, they got into a helicopter and a jet flew to Charlotte for the night race and drove in what was then the World 600, which is a 600-mile race, 600-mile NASCAR race. So they drove 1,100 miles in a day racing.
10 seconds. That's nuts.
More to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Hey, Jim Coyle here with you as always. It is Tuesday. K-Bro, Kevin Brockway in from CNHI Papers joining us. Chronic Hoosier will join us a little bit later. Talking about all kinds of things today. Indy 500 coming up. Kevin was at the Grand Prix race, which was a wild finish in the rain. Where were you? Were you in the press box watching it?
Yeah, we were upstairs in the press box. What was interesting was at one point in the race, it was raining on the grandstand stretch and it was dry on the other stretch.
Yes.
That was just crazy about it. And they were trying to, change tires, obviously. And I guess obviously if you if you have the rain tires on and the dry, you can't get as much speed. So
they're slower.
It's just navigating that whole aspect of it was really fascinating. And Colton Herta was the first one on lap 3.
But he had slicks on, I thought, didn't he?
Well, but he went from the wet to they had to start with the wet because everyone had to start with the wet because it was declared a wet race. So he was the first one to go into the pits and change to the dry tires. And by doing that, he started in the 14th position. He went all the way up to first and pretty much held the lead drop.
Ross said, I am Indianapolis Motor Speedway's announced that they're within 20,000 tickets of their 2016 record crowd. That's amazing, which is also important because hopefully they will lift the blackout for the Indianapolis area, which usually takes effect, which sucks because that means people in Indianapolis, if you're not at the race, can't watch it until that night. So hopefully that gets taken care of. Chris says, Kevin, you need to go down to Georgetown Road on Saturday night before the race and just watch the animals. It has slowed down quite a bit since the 80s, but I assume that is a prequel to the snake pit that happens on turn 4. Robert Schwartz says, root for Jimmy Johnson to win the 500. He would join an exclusive club of drivers to have won both Indy and Daytona. They would be the first driver. Then would be the first driver to win Indy in 2 different series. I think he has zero chance. I have just not seen him do jack, and he is just not. To me, he struggled too much in this. I mean, most guys that went over there did it. Kurt Busch went over there and ran the damn 500. I think he finished in the top 10, and then ran the World 600 in Charlotte, the NASCAR race that night. The famed double that Tony Stewart has done. Robbie Gordon, I think, made it famous. He did it several times. But you're talking driving the Indianapolis 500 miles, getting in a jet, a plane, or a helicopter, then a jet, going to Charlotte and driving another 600 miles in the NASCAR race that night for 1,100 on the day. That's a pretty good run, pretty good day.
Yeah, a lot of Jimmy Johnson, by the way, was 27th in qualifying at the Indy Grand Prix out of 27 cars, and came in 24th or 25th, I think, on race day. Columbus, Indiana native, right?
Who's that?
Jimmy Johnson?
No, Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart's Columbus. Okay.
Yeah. Tony Stewart's Columbus. You've got Chase Briscoe from right here at Mitchell, right below us. The dude from South Bend, while I'm drawing a name on him right now, a bad wreck in the number 6 car a couple years ago at Daytona. They'll flip it up here. He was a Purdue guy, so that's why I'm probably forgetting his name. But yeah, Jimmy Johnson to me is just not getting it done.
Johnson embarrassing himself. He needs to walk away. Yeah.
Kurt Busch did it better than Johnson. And yeah, he just went over and drove and did better. Johnson just seems like he's either afraid, which I get. He's at retirement age. You don't go and get into a more difficult car at retirement age to drive. And Indy car is probably a little bit more difficult because of the speed. And that's where you need that hand-eye coordination to be at its zenith, like it was when you're 24, 5, whatever. I agree exactly. He needs to walk away. Just get out. Tim's pulling for Scott Dixon this year. We'll see who was. But that's right. You can listen to Chris Denari, our good friend, who will be in turn 4 of the race. So it will be lifted if they sell out, Chris. So we'll see. John Andretti ran it multiple times. Johnson has been fast in testing at 220 miles, but we'll see.
Traffic, yeah.
Looking forward to it, man. It's it's a big deal, the Indianapolis 500. Of course, bigger than in Indiana than in other places, but it is the largest spectator sporting event in the world, people. And at times, like the 100th running a couple years ago, how many people they end up with? 330,000 people there. Is that not 10% of America's population? Well, I mean, 1%. 1% of America's population was at the Indianapolis 500. That's crazy, isn't it?
Without a doubt. I'm looking forward to it.
Tony Stewart, only one to finish both Indy and Charlotte of the 4 guys that have done it. Oh, wow. Didn't realize that. And Robert says, just for the record, Jimmy Johnson sucks on RCs, which I'm not sure what that is. Road courses. Look up his finish at Texas Oval this year. Didn't he run well on the test at Indy? I don't know. All right, I guess that's enough Indy talk. We need to get to basketball, folks. Let's see. What was that comment earlier that
about Trace Jackson Davis? Andy Katz is coming.
Andy Katz tweeted on Trace Jackson Davis that he's not a lock, a lot of talent, NBA potential, but if back at IU could be Andy Katz. You know what? Andy Katz doesn't know crap. Seriously, he doesn't know crap that anybody else doesn't know. What the hell is he saying here that we don't say every day? No kidding. Of course he's got a lot of talent. He wouldn't be at the damn combine if he didn't have talent. And yes, he's not a lock. We all know that. That's why he's projected as being a potential late to non-second round. We already know that, don't we? If he comes back to IU, of course he could be player of the year. He was one of the best players in the damn league this year. So, and cement his legacy at IU. Wow. Have you ever heard that before? Wow, man. I wonder where he got all that information. He must have worked hard. He's just somebody who doesn't ever bring information. He never brings anything. All he does is regurgitate. Not meaning to crack on him, but I mean, it is. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
You know, back in the day, he was a newsbreaker. You know, particularly when he was on ESPN, and now he's doing stuff for the Big Ten Network, and he's entertaining. But I would say this.
In your mind,
maybe in my mind. I mean, I like Andy, but I think that will Trey show a jumper this week at the combine? That's the big question. You know, will he show perimeter skills? Will he show an ability to, guard, pick and roll, the kind of things that you have to see from a wing that's a 4, basically.
That's the thing. Could he have a breakout combine? I mean, it's not that the guy can't shoot. My God, I've seen him shoot the ball, but can he shoot in game situations, not workouts? There's a difference between doing it in a workout when there's no pressure, no defense, and doing it when there's defenders on you. And I think he just doesn't have a lot of confidence. And I don't know why. My God, just shoot the ball. But if he does and have success, he wouldn't be back here.
Yep.
Someone says that, well, we'll get back to that comment. I shouldn't have brought that one up. That's a different subject. But I think it was Forrest that says he's starting to feel like he's going to get a two-way contract and not come back. Well, if he does, he does. That's the deal. But I just think there's a lot of people in front of him, though, man. A lot of people like Drew Timme, who I thought would have had a higher ceiling than Trace Jackson, but he doesn't. He's not listed as high.
Somebody asked me recently a pro comparison to Trace Jackson Davis, and it was really hard because you don't see too many 6'9" back to the basket guys in the NBA now that don't have a shot. So I said Taj Gibson, who played some with who is obviously a good finisher, a good leaper, played some with the Chicago Bulls, played with the Knicks. But I guess that would be the apt comparison to Trace. But it's really hard right now because most 6'9" guys that are 240 pounds that they don't play back to the basket. They have to shoot. And Trace hasn't shown that.
Nope. And I don't know where it's going to come from all of a sudden, but that's okay. This is not necessarily no matter what happens, it's still a winning proposition for Trace Jackson Davis. He is getting, even if he comes back and doesn't stay in the draft, he's getting a lot of information. He's having a lot of guys see him, and they know that he's talented. He just has to improve. But why would he improve on a jump shot next year when he's had his entire life to do it?
Yeah, and if he's, was he not allowed to do it, as he said? Or
he's never done it his whole career, so that's crap. I don't even think that we should discuss that. Why has he not developed that before? I mean, in high school, obviously, he was just the big man on campus and just overpowered everybody. But most kids know that they still have to do other things. Look at Trent Sisley. You're telling me he couldn't play center if he wanted to on most high school games? He's 6'7", dominate anybody. But no, he's playing a guard wing because that's what he's going to play in college. A guard wing where he has to use the ball, shoot the ball, handle the ball. He's doing all the things he will have to do in college. Trace Jackson didn't. He just posted up and abused people in high school, and it's coming back to haunt him.
And his leaping ability too. Obviously, his athletic ability around the rim, which is a calling card for him. I mean, he's got a very good vertical leap. We saw that on the alley-oops. I mean, he plays above the rim, so there's something to be said for that too. And that could translate pretty well in the NBA as well. Just his overall athletic ability. He is an NBA athlete. You cannot deny that.
Jimmy Johnson just smoked a motor as well. So we're getting a practice update as we go through from Ross. I appreciate that, Ross.
By the way, a very early bracketology from Joe Lenardi. It's Indiana's a 5 seed facing Toledo as a 12. Purdue a 6 seed.
And see, that absolutely sounds probably about right. Anytime I hear a seed, I just take it times 4. So you take 5 times 4, because there will be 4 or 5 seeds, and that puts them in the top 20. Makes them a top 20 team. So could they be better than that? Yeah, they could. But that's going to be dependent upon 2 things. Does Trace Jackson Davis come back? And who in the hell shoots the ball? But let's say, talk about Trace Jackson Davis coming back. If he does, this team is in a very, very good position as far as depth, but they still need somebody to shoot the ball, Kevin.
Yeah, they didn't get McNeil from West Virginia. That was your guy, you know what I mean? And you brought him here for a little 500 week. How could you not reel that guy in?
Well, because they were waiting, I guess. They did not have a definitive spot, maybe. I don't know.
They had a spot for him.
Yeah, if they really wanted him, they probably could have gotten him. I'm not sure how much they wanted him.
You need a shooter. He was a great shooter. I'm sure they want him, but don't say after the fact that they didn't want him when they wooed him.
No, I'm not.
I'm
not.
Dexter
I don't know.
Dennis, I guess I saw went to Texas A&M, right?
Yeah, he finally made his decision, which that was a waiting game. So we'll see. Tim pointing out, how about Mark Cuban, Victor Oladipo, or Juwan Morgan all having a shot to win an NBA championship as a player or an owner this year? So that's kind of cool.
Heat Sixers start tonight. Yeah, Vic has been good in the playoffs. I've been watching him, and he's playing his role well. I think in one of the closeout games he had 23 points as like a 6th or 7th man, but he plays a lot in the 4th quarter, and he's been very good.
Well, the Eastern Conference Finals starting tonight, and Juwan Morgan and Victor Oladipo, those teams, I don't know if Juwan will get into the game or not, but those teams are going at it. So there you go. There's a couple of IU guys that are left in the Final Four, so that's kind of cool. And then Mark Cuban. So Indiana has connections on 3 out of the 4. Who's the 4th team? Golden State?
State versus Dallas, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, there's a connection there because Will Sheehy, now on the Golden State Warriors staff, not on the NBA level. He's been their G League program, but still got the IU guys everywhere you go. So there's that. And as soon as the season's over, we'll get Will on the show and talk about that. It's pretty cool. Ed asking, how much is a two-way contract? Well, it doesn't pay a lot. It pays what the G League pays when you're with the G League. And then if you come up, if I'm correct, Kevin, it pays the rookie minimum.
Yeah.
While you're with the NBA.
Most of the two ways are in the six-figure range, low, like 100, 150,000.
See, and that is a third. That's probably a sixth of what he will make in NIL next year. And I'm talking about Trace Jackson Davis at Indiana.
Well, the NCAA is going to crack down on the collectives. Let's see what happens.
Oh, crack down how? I'm so tired of hearing the NCAA. NCAA couldn't crack down on cracks. They couldn't fill a crack with a caulking gun, man. What are they going to do? They still haven't done anything about Kansas or Louisville. That's years ago. They might as well shut up. Just shut up. They're a toothless organization, and they're about to implode. I mean, the NCAA is on its last leg, Kevin. They've got no teeth. They have no ability to force people to when they investigate things. They can't compel people unless they're an employee to testify and whatnot. So they're almost useless. And then we had the ACC's commissioner come out basically and say, what's the point of the NCAA? What the hell are they doing? But the funny thing is, it shouldn't be a commissioner. Why is he not saying that to his own school presidents? Because his own school presidents is the NCAA. Indiana, Michigan, Michigan State, every president is the NCAA. They make those decisions. That's who makes the decisions.
Well, I think that's the thing about Mark Emmert, though. I mean, he listens to the presidents, but sometimes a leader, makes his own decisions. And I think that was a big issue with Mark Emmert, was he didn't make his own decisions, and he's on his way out now. So I think, too, the NCAA puts on, I think their role going forward is going to be to put on the tournaments, and that's kind of, they're going to be their bailiwick. And the one thing they do well certainly is the men's basketball tournament. They're not involved in football. I mean, that's all the conference commissioners and the college football playoff. They have the power there. But every other sport, the postseason tournaments are put on by the NCAA. And I think that's what they're going to morph into, is just basically an agency that puts on events and puts on tournaments.
Exactly. The NCAA tournament is great, and I think that will continue as such. I agree with you. LJ Wright, a guy I went to high school with, is actually the director of men's championships for the NCAA. They do a great job with that. But as far as policing, protecting, all that, someone still has to do it. Does Division I big time sports need a commissioner? We'll talk about that when we come back. Indiana Sports Beat brought to you by Feast Market and Cellar, located next door to Southern Stone Restaurant on Patterson and Rogers in Bloomington, offering an extensive wine selection with a sommelier on staff. That's pretty big time. Kevin, you know what a sommelier is?
Someone that tastes wine. I think you told me this last week.
No, anybody can taste wine.
What does he do?
You don't know what a sommelier is? Man,
I thought you said it was someone that tastes wine or sniffs
wine. They
wine.
are a wine professional it's like being a PGA professional, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, well, they taste wine. They sample it, right?
Well, anybody tastes wine. I can taste wine. Doesn't make me a sommelier. I can go out and hit golf balls, which I do all the time. It definitely doesn't make me a damn PGA pro. We're back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right here, right after this with K-Bro.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore.
That was good. We'll have a quick segment here before Chronic, about 10 minutes. It won't break again.
All right.
Cool. There's my card for LJ.
You did say what a sommelier was last week, though. I guess we just forgot.
I just said, well, they taste wine. They
Professional wine tasters.
I went to high school with a girl that's a sommelier. She was actually the head of the. There's those stupid things I left. Dumb idiot. She was actually at the Windows on the World restaurant, which was at the top of the Twin Towers.
Wow.
She left just before that happened.
Did you see that Luke Brown is transferring again?
No, he's leaving Stetson.
No, he left Ball State. He left Stetson like his first 2 weeks there, and then he went to Ball State. Now he's leaving Ball State.
Where's he going?
I don't know. I think he wants to go somewhere where he can get shots or play or something. I don't know.
Well, Michael Lewis must have quickly discovered that, dude, go back to all the people who told you were great.
Yeah.
That's a great discussion.
Great discussion.
Luke Brown, everybody was trying to talk about how he's getting screwed over, that he's so much better. Stetson, Ball State.
Well, Michael Lewis must have found out that he can't defend,
He's just not a Division One. I mean, he's just a very low end Division One player.
Yeah. Very low end.
Fourth on the IHSA all-time scoring list, 3,011 points.
Yeah, but that's crap. He played against nobody.
Would you take him at Indiana as a walk-on because he could shoot and just bring him off the bench?
Hell, no.
Which player?
No.
Luke Brown.
Oh.
No, he's just because he can shoot. He can't. He would not be able to shoot against Division a Big Ten talent.
Big Ten. All right.
Big Ten defense. They're too fast, big. He has no idea. He had no idea what he'd be getting into.
Well, you have Miller Kopp
Right,
instead. He misses. You have Miller Kopp instead. He misses a lot of wide open jumpers.
Miller Kopp's going to be better next year. I bet you. The offense will be slightly different, and I think that will help him. I think it will help him. I do.
All right, here we go.
Pros.com or 317-298-0961. Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. This segment is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you here on this Tuesday. K-Bro, Kevin Brockway in the house from CNHI Papers.
Good morning.
Finished up his good afternoon. Finished up his first foray to auto racing at the Indianapolis Grand Prix last week. Now he's got the 500 coming up soon. Getting him all broken into everything. Had Jordan Hulls on last week while you were gone. The day after you were on vacation last week. We had Jordan on last Wednesday after it was announced that he's going to be joining the Indiana staff. And we're waiting for him to get back over here from Germany. He is playing in the tournament and for his league. I have to check to see where they are right now.
Hopefully, here's a Better Call Saul reference. Hopefully, Lalo Santamaka doesn't track him down like he did that other guy in Germany.
Salamanca.
The poor axe, right?
I'm sorry, I do not speak German. But yeah, and Jordan won't have to worry about speaking German anymore. Bringing on, the shooting aspect has long been for the last 6 years, been something that has been a problem for Indiana that had not ever been a problem before. Jordan Holes is part of that, not having it been a problem before. He was one of those guys that was one of the great shooters on the teams. How will that, I wonder how that will translate, because it's probably different when a coach is trying to tell you to do something, as opposed to you got somebody like Jordan Holes who's literally walking off of the court as a professional player, who is currently shooting 45% from professional 3-point stripe. But I think that he can sit down with guys or work with them a lot easier. I think that he will be able to help Indiana's shooting. I think that he will help these guys. I think that they will listen to him and that he can help them, and more importantly, spot things that they're just not doing, and you're going to have to change.
That's the thing that's fascinating. It'd be interesting to ask Mike Woodson this too about, some coaches do not believe in tinkering with mechanics once you get to college, because it's innate. It's something they've done their whole life. And they figure if you tinker with shooting mechanics, you can make it worse instead of making it better. That's an interesting dynamic. And to see if people, how many of these Indiana players would be open to that even, or would they just be comfortable shooting the way they've been shooting their whole life? Now, you can make the argument that for some guys, it probably hasn't worked very well, because if they're shooting at 30 or 30%.
That's my point. If it's not working, I don't care what you're comfortable with. It's not, you don't have that option anymore. You're being paid to play in one form or another. They're being paid to do this job. Period.
But I think there's also a fear of, like, if you screw someone's mechanics, you can make a 31% 3-point shooter a 26% 3-point shooter. It can go the other way. That's the point.
But you know what? I don't care, because I can't count on a 31% free shooter anyway. So that doesn't bother me. He either gets better or he doesn't. Getting worse, doesn't matter. You can't count on him as it is now. So they need to be elevated. This team has to shoot the ball better to be successful, period. There's no ends or buts about that. I don't care if Trace Jackson Davis comes back. You have to be able to shoot the long ball in the game today.
Who was one of the most improved 3-point shooters by the end of the season, I thought, was Xavier Johnson. Like, if you remember early in the season, people were groaning when he was taking those wide open shots.
Well, his entire game improved. If
you remember, by the end of the year, that Maryland game, he was very good. Obviously, he was perfect from the floor pretty much that game. Was a big key for them to kind of make that late push, and in the Big Ten tournament as well.
Well, his entire game improved. Absolutely. I think he got comfortable. I think he got to a position where he knew he was like, all right, I've got to settle down and just focus on doing this, because his head was in a lot of different places. And it seemed like he just kind of brought it together, because his entire game was tremendous. Rebounding, scoring, facilitating with the assists and shooting, defending. He was Indiana's probably most valuable player, to be honest with you, toward the end of the season. Well, I mean, because he did so many different things. I mean, you have to look at it. He did so many, whether it was defense, whether it was assists, whether it was scoring or shooting, he was doing all of those things. Nobody else was doing all of them.
Trace was defensive player of the year. I mean, Trace was pretty good. I mean, Trace didn't shoot. That wasn't his role, but
like I said, Trace was, I'm not to say he wasn't doing well, was not doing as many things as Xavier. Xavier was just doing many more things. Trace may have done one thing better, blocking shots, defending, and so he got that, which is fine. But
if Trace comes back, you're going to have a pretty good 3-man core in Trace, Race, and Xavier, guys with experience. That's going to really help to build around, and guys that have continuity, that have played together for a little while. Absolutely. which I think is important as well. And I think that's something that's overlooked. And you talk about transfers, and even getting back to my one-on-one with Tom Allen with football, I talked about that. When you rely on so many transfers, it's hard to throw people together and expect to have that continuity. And I know that Tom, he's also talked about, this year without COVID, he's going to be able to do more team building stuff. And he thinks that, by bringing a lot of these transfers in January and having them in spring, it's going to help. But I'm the kind of guy, like, I want to see a team grow together. But in the transfer portal era, this is very hard to do. And coaches are going to be apt to, football, basketball, whatever, apt to jump for the talent and try to get the talent. But I've seen plenty of teams that have been successful, I think, are the teams that, grow together and have continuity, and that, you look at some of those Villanova NCAA championship teams recently under Jay Wright. You look at the Loyola Chicago team under, Porter Moser. What set them apart? What made them overachieve? Continuity. Guys that have been together 3-4 years. So there's something to be said for that still.
Absolutely. Continuity. Let's go take a break right now. And Chronic Hoosier is going to join us next so we can keep continuity in the show. Appreciate you listening. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio here on this Tuesday, brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. If you're down in southern Indiana, right off of I-65, pizza, burgers, beer. Back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting Bloomington.
Good day, Mr. Chronic.
What up?
Brother, another day in paradise, and it actually is kind of paradisey outside today.
This is as good as it gets, man. No doubt.
Chamber of Commerce weather, bro. Chamber of Commerce weather. How's things with you?
Things are doing well. We are limping towards the finish line here. Got 2 kids finished school on Friday, and we are ready to get headlong into B-Town summer here.
Oh, mercy. I wish this weather would stay just like this, man. Of course, if it did, there would be 1 million people living here. It is nice out, though. Did you make it to the Little Five this year? Chronic, did you make the Little Five this year?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I said, did you make the Little Five this year?
No, I got stuck working. I've reached the age where my kids now go to Little Five. Well, I get stuck doing grown-up shit.
I can wear my Ricky Fowler Big Ten golf hat. My flat bill. What do you think, K-Bro?
Why not?
This is kind of K-Bro-ish. As a matter of fact, if I were to put it on sideways, right? What's up, yo? What up, yo? Welcome back. How's Rish doing?
Rish is good. He's out in Vegas right now. Got a conference with the yes. Got a conference with it's a Honda conference, I believe, out there.
Hey, do you play golf?
Poorly, very poorly.
That's irrelevant. We all play poorly, but and you probably can't because it's a Thursday. But yeah, I've sent this to Rish. But there's the Jordan
15.
Hulls golf deal. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. I actually need to get with him. I'm going to do another hole.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you on this Tuesday, and that means Chronic Hoosier's coming along. Welcome aboard. How are you, sir?
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Glad to be here. What an incredible day outside it is. I mean, the temperature started at 62 in the morning. It's probably about 72. There is not a cloud in these Bloomington skies. It is crystal blue, man.
Yeah, it's about as good as it gets around here. There's no doubt. And I've said it since I experienced my first one, and I'll say it till I die. There's really no excuse for folks to go home during the summer here, especially the students. B-Town summer is absolutely this place's greatest time of the year, and we're loving it now. 2 full weeks, heading into the second week, I guess, of the IU summertime. It's just absolutely wonderful right now.
In the break, I was talking to you about Jordan Hull's Never Lose Hoop golf outing, which we're working with him on. But we haven't spoken since Jordan was named, I started to say assistant coach, which he is, but his actual title is team and recruiting director. But he is, in essence, an assistant coach. Big time. I can't think. I'm trying to think back. Has there been another time where a former player of his stature has been added to the staff other than Calbert Cheney, and his role seemed even different than the importance that Jordan's is bringing in? I can't think of a more important former player coming on, but maybe I'm just forgetting.
Mike Roberts, Archie had Mike Roberts on staff here most recently.
Well, but I meant of Jordan's stature. Jordan was a critical part of the team.
No, I there's none that comes to mind. I mean, there have been, we've obviously had some former players come back as assistant coaches over the years, but that's been something that's been, widely bemoaned by a lot of the alums and the fan base over the years. And Woody has addressed that in short. I guess Dane Fife is probably the obvious one too, even more recently than Mike Roberts. But that didn't end as everybody anticipated or expected or hoped, I guess. But
and I'll be honest with you, I kind of forgot about that one.
Yeah, this is one of the, but that's one of the pitfalls in this. When you bring in some of these beloved alums to come back, it's got to work. It's got to work for the head coach. It's got to work for the rest of the staff, and there's certainly some risk if it doesn't work. That it leaves a little stain on everybody. But I think Jordan was born to be a coach from the day that he first picked up a basketball with his dad's tutelage and just all the coaching that he's gone through over the years. You kind of knew this was coming at some point. He's obviously still competing at the highest level over in Europe right now, but with a young family and a wife, I think they are excited to get back stateside, excited to get back close to, the rest of their family. And, you can tell from talking to Jordan, excited to get back to Indiana basketball. And I can't think of a more perfect role for him to get his feet wet in the coaching profession than going out and utilizing his connections and his eye for the game and helping bring in the future generations of Indiana basketball players. So should be a very exciting time. Can't wait to see Jordy back. Can't wait to see Jordy out at Eagle Point with his Never Lose Hoop golf outing. It's a tremendous cause they've done for years, and I've been happy to support in the past. And as I was just mentioning I got to get back in touch with them because I got to get that Tijon sign back up out on the course this year if they still got room for him.
Oh, we will get it to me, bro. To take care of it. Hell, I'll put it up right now. You need to get that thing to me, and I'll put it up in advance of the tournament. That would be tremendous. That would actually be a great promotional thing for it. I didn't know you had a Tijon sign. You're kidding.
I've supported the outing in the past. Obviously, with COVID, they had to suspend it for a little bit, but glad to see it back on. Can't wait to see who all Jordy brings out. In the past, he's always had current and former players come join him. I'm going to warn everybody right now: if Diesel goes out there and tries to put a wager on it, watch him. That dude can stroke it.
Who's that?
Elston.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, when you're that size, if you can hit a golf ball, it's over. And a lot of times these guys, they're athletic, man. They're athletic, and that's hand-eye coordination. So that's why you see a lot of these guys that are great golfers. We've got the flyer up there right now, as a matter of fact, for the Never Lose Hoop golf outing that Chronic was just talking about. Anybody can play, man. Bring a team. I know that Cody Zeller is going to be there. And like Chronic said, it's going to be, we don't know who all is going to be there. I'm going to tell you that, well, Woody won't be able to play because that's the last day of his camp. His camp ends in the afternoon. So we're going to be fully expecting him and many others for dinner. But there'll be others that Austin Etherington is getting teams together. So it's going to be a ton of fun, but more importantly, you're going to have fun and raise money for area kids with cancer. So that's the most important part of that. But yeah, looking forward to it. I just sent that to you, Chronic, so you have that. But actually there's another link I'll send you if you need that as well. But yeah, it's just a fun event and perfect timing for him coming back. But how important is it having that gives that, people were talking about wanting that Indiana connection, even though Mike Woodson is an Indiana guy. It's been a long time. So you've got to connect with the younger kids. And this is a guy that's still playing ball. And although he's been away from IU for 9 years, almost a decade, he's still playing. And that's why I think that he could be able to step onto the court or talk to kids, talk to guys and reach them at a different level.
Not only that, Jordan has sponsored an AAU team for several years now. He has stayed very closely connected to the local prep scene. And this is just a great opportunity for him to capitalize on those connections he's forged over a lifetime in the game and grow and expand them. And, Jordan now having been overseas for several years, having a chance to see some of the best in the world. I fully expect him to kind of apply those talents and that eye for talent towards the future classes. This is a role that was previously held by Brian Walsh, who did a tremendous job in that. And I don't expect there to be any let up whatsoever when Jordan moves into it, with Walsh moving into the assistant coaching role now as an on-court counter coach, if you will. So exciting times for Indiana basketball, exciting times for Indiana basketball fans, no doubt.
You got a local kid that they're targeting too, right? That JQ Roberts from Bloomington North, power forward in the 2023 class.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. He is a very extraordinarily athletic guy, Chronic. Very good on the defensive end, but his offensive game is lacking a little bit. So that's where I'm wondering if he's going to be able to fit in or not.
Yeah, it's intriguing, no doubt. It's certainly a tendency that I think exists everywhere, but is maybe a little more pronounced in Indiana, to put a little higher premium on the local boys when it comes to the recruiting front. I think part of that's probably a little bit learned from our history and experience. There's nothing worse than seeing one of your hometown kids not only shun your favorite team, but as it often is the case around here, end up at a rival or a competing Big Ten school. So never want to see that. But at the end of the day, as I've said for a while now, just go out and get the best talent available that best suits your needs. And I think this staff is laser focused on just that. I don't think there's going to be any undue influence or any skewing of their assessments just because of what jersey the kid currently wears in high school or AAU. I think this is a staff that's very acutely aware of who they are, what they're trying to do, and what pieces are going to best fit. So I have full confidence that will remain the case, and that Jordan Hall's addition to the staff in this role is going to help grow those endeavors.
He could have played 2 more years easily. He's at the top of his game right now. As I said, he's shooting 45%, playing on a good team. They were number 1 last year, Kevin and Chronic, heading into the playoffs. Of course, they didn't get it done to win it, but hopefully they will this year. But he could have played 2 more years, and I think that was his plan.
Yeah, this could have been one of those where it was just a matter of the opportunity. I know Jordan and his wife Audrey, just recently had their first daughter, bringing their stable to 3 young kids now. And, I have no doubt that Jordan could continue to play at a high level for some time. He just took home the bronze in the European Championship. but I think part of it is recognizing that window of opportunity that existed and wanting to make sure to capitalize on it. And I fully expect this to be just the first step in what is likely a long and very successful basketball coaching career here.
We've also got Indy coming around. We just finished the Grand Prix, and now 500 practice is already underway. Ross pointing out that Jimmy Johnson currently has the fastest time at the moment in a backup after blowing an engine earlier already. I was talking about Jimmy Johnson saying I didn't think he was doing a good enough job out there. So probably step aside, but now he's got the fastest time at the moment. But practice underway for the 500. That's a big time, man. The Indianapolis 500 is a rite of passage. It's a springtime, just one of those iconic springtime events that happens in Indiana.
No doubt, man. You know, for a state that is widely known for basketball, I grew up in a household where I was taught that, you know, all Hoosiers are born with 2 R chromosomes, racing and round ball. And it's easy to forget that the racing comes first around here. As passionate as Indiana fans are about basketball, Hoosiers will race absolutely anything and everything that you can line up. And the 500 is a tradition in my family that's existed since I turned 3 years old. My kids have been going to the track since they were 5 years old, and it is absolutely my favorite family tradition of the year. So can't wait to get up there here in less than 2 weeks now. We'll be rolling 3 generations deep at IMS, and it's one of the best times of the year, no doubt. I cannot wait to get back up and cannot wait to see the first non-COVID year in a couple years, even though it's still very much circulating right now. This is the first time in 2 years that my family's going to be back up at the track. So definitely anxious to get back up and resume our family's tradition of going up to the race together.
K-Bro just spent his first times up at the track.
Yeah, Grand Prix. It was a lot of fun. It was that was such a wild race that Saturday because of the rain and because of the strategy that was involved. And I thought it was pretty fascinating, you know, changing tires, and you had a lot of cautions, a lot of wrecks, and just having to navigate that kind of a race, I thought was in Colton Harrington, the 22-year-old pulled it out, Brian Harrington's son.
Yeah, some terrifying stories of what it was like to be in the cockpit during that thing with the new aero shield and the rain and the elements, and just all the hazards that presented. Remarkable they were able to get it off. Remarkable nobody was seriously injured. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't continue to evolve some of the technologies being employed to keep these guys safe and allow them to race in those types of conditions, because that was absolutely wild. There's some video circulating of Herta's laps going through the weather and the conditions, and just the razor's edge those guys were operating on, and how frequently and how easily they slipped on the wrong side of it. The skill demonstrated is just nothing short of absolutely amazing, considering the machines those guys are operating around the track. Just nothing short of phenomenal driving.
Yeah, that did blow my mind. I mean, being on the road course is one thing, but being on a road course in the rain is another. And Huerta was out there on slicks I think there was a point where it was still raining and he was on slicks. So those guys, you talk about, they got cojones, man. I don't know how they get into those cockpits with the cojones they must have as how they drive those things.
That's that's been the one thing that's been omnipresent every time I've stepped foot in Indianapolis, is as enthralling as the speed is. The omnipresence of the danger involved is it's just tremendous on all fronts. And it honestly, in my opinion, especially right now in this day and age, the product is nothing short of exceptional. And as much as F1 racing has kind of moved into the spotlight here in recent years with the series and just the increased coverage, open wheel racing has been a staple in American culture, especially Indiana culture, for a long time now. And it's just an absolutely epic experience for those that have never been. Those that have been 50 years, the best race is always going to be my next one. Can't wait.
Looking forward to it. What's up next for you, man? What's happening in the Chronic household?
We got after today, we got 3 more days of school left, and then it's a couple of months of sleep-ins for the families. We are looking forward to that for sure. It's the best time of the year, man. We have really tried to make an effort to get out and about, enjoy some patio dining, all sorts of outdoor activity. I just got cleared from my orthopedic surgeon today. I'm released from his care. So excited to get back on some skis this summer and some jet skis and some boats and just go out and enjoy Lake Monroe to the fullest, enjoy Hoosier National to the fullest, do some bicycling around town or continue to bike around town. And 1 month, one day, find our way back to the sandy shores of Florida for a little bit of R&R. So we are ready to jump headlong into summertime.
I have got to plan a vacation, man. I've just got to do it.
I grew up in a household that didn't, and God bless my wife. She has prioritized that time with our family early on, and it's honestly the only reason I continue to show up to work every day. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. It's just one of those things where you got to recharge those batteries, man. You got to make everything worthwhile and keep everything in perspective, what's most important. So taking my brothers and their kids down, we got a house on the beach down in Cape San Blas, and it's going to be our 6th or 7th trip down there here in the last couple of years. So excited to get back, excited to get some of that fresh seafood in those warm Gulf waters and a little bit of that sunshine.
Looking forward to it, brother. Can't thank you enough as always. Looking forward to next Tuesday.
I wonder if we don't have some news on the scholarship front by then as well, but we'll see here.
I would certainly think as the draft combine was started today, and so maybe we will. We'll find out. We're getting closer. That's for certain, right?
The window has opened, and I think we will have some news here sooner than later, is my guess.
I hear you. Chronic Hoosier, making it happen, man. Appreciate you, sir. We'll see you again next Tuesday.
Thanks as always for having me. We'll catch you then. Be well.
You bet. Brought to you by our good friends at Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. #1 for a reason, because at Andy Moore Honda, you get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com. Plenty more with K Brockway, K-Bro, G1. Next, here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting.
All right. Un más I don't know how to say segment in Spanish, but I was going to say segmento. Let's look it up.
What do you want? What are you saying?
The word segment in Spanish.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
It is segmento. That sounds like a made-up word.
Segmento.
Un más segmento.
Un más segmento de Kevin Brockway, everybody. It's so funny when they're speaking Spanish, but then when they come to a name, they have to say the name as it is.
Yeah.
And so it's all in. Yes, Kevin Brockway.
I love hearing the birds, man.
Yep.
I feel like this is the first and only full week of spring that we're going to have, because I'm sure it'll go right back to being really hot after this. But I'll enjoy it while it lasts. See, spring is my favorite season, but I feel like we only get 2 to 3 weeks of it.
Well, especially this year.
It's weird. I feel like the same thing happens in fall now, too. You only get 2 or 3 weeks of fall before it transitions completely into winter. My stepbrother lives in Buffalo. I always said I feel like I could trade an extra month and a half of winter for a nicer summer. I think I could do that. But I say that, who knows?
Who the flock knows?
Here we go.
Coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and plenty more. Simply go to thehoosier.com and sign up. It's free. You can also find full episodes of Indiana Sports Beat Radio on the homepage or on the station every week, Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Now back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Oh, you playing that, man? It sounds like K-Bro in the background rocking it out with his band.
Yeah.
K-Bro and the Broettes.
Something like that.
The Kevettes.
K-Bro and the Kevettes. Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Jim Coyle with you as always. Here on this Tuesday. It's a great-looking Tuesday. Man. If you're down
that almost sounded like Truckin' from the Grateful Dead a little bit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
There's a truckin'. Yeah, man. If you're down in Evansville, you might have to get out on the river.
Why not?
Do some tubing. It's a little chilly, that's why.
Do some fishing. What kind of fish do they catch in the Ohio River, I wonder?
Yeah, well.
3-eyed fish or something? Is there a lot of waste? Or
catfish.
3-eyed fish? Catfish, yeah.
Carp, not a lot of, yeah, it's more, you got to get off into the streams, lakes.
Yeah.
For all that stuff. But what an incredible day out there. I can't believe.
I can hear the birds in the background outside your house there.
That's right. And that's not fake. This is not some fake Masters stuff, man. Got the windows open. Outside, they got the studio windows open.
Hello, friends. Yeah.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Bunker. What is it? Something Bunkers. The Bunkers something cabin.
Yeah. You brought up an interesting point with hulls before, and I always find this fascinating about Indiana, and we've discussed this because I remember when the aforementioned coach, I know you don't like to talk about, but there was this trend a couple of years ago of, because Crean was recruiting nationally and some Indiana high school coaches were getting upset, and there was this trend of we have to get the Indiana guys. And now we're back to Woodson where he's recruiting nationally. So what is Indiana a national program in your mind, or is it a program where you get Indiana guys? Or, Knight recruited mostly Indiana and a little bit of the Midwest. He would get a kid from
Chicago,
here's the thing.
Here's my take on this. Indiana is a national program, but it never had to recruit nationally because the state of Indiana produces so much talent that Michigan State, Ohio State, Butler, Notre Dame, Purdue, Kentucky, Louisville, Duke, North Carolina, programs like that are always recruiting kids from Indiana. So they didn't have to go too far. But that recruiting got screwed up a number of ways, a number of times, and then Crean screwed it up with his relationship with coaches around the state, I believe. He lost that ability. That's why he had to go out. Then Archie Miller could not get anybody from outside of the state of Indiana to come play for him, because the only kids he could get come play for him were guys were like, well, at least I can go play for Indiana, which is a very cool thing. He was very fortunate that Louisville got in trouble and fired Rick Pitino, and that's what landed Romeo Langford at Indiana instead of Louisville. If it wasn't for that, that doesn't happen. You saw what happened with gosh darn it, the kid from Sellersburg, Silver Creek High School that was coming to Kaufman. You saw what happened with him. It didn't last long. Archie had the Indiana kids, and then boom, they saw that what was going on. They're like, yep, nope, got nothing to do with there. But to get back to your question, Indiana should be a national program. It should be recruiting the best players, period. And that's what Mike Woodson is doing. He is recruiting the best players, period, that he can find. He doesn't care where they've come from, where they went to high school, if it's in Indiana, if it's not. Now, there should be a couple of players every year in the state that you pull from Indiana. It just should be. You got CJ Gunn this year. Next year the recruiting going, and then you've got Sisley and Harrelson down the line. So those guys were always there. Woodson was kind of behind in the Indiana recruiting thing, but now they'll quickly catch up, and Indiana is going to get whomever. I think they'll get what they want going forward.
Yeah. I equate this to Miami football back in the day too, where they built the state of Miami, which was anything south of Orlando. They were going to know these guys. They were going to be expert on these guys. And I think part of the reason where, like I said, part of the reason where Archie failed was Aaron Henry, right? You know what I mean? Going to Michigan State, Nigel Pack going to Kansas State. You know what I mean? It's not knowing who the best guys are in your own backyard. And that's,
well, when you don't know talent,
staff will be better than that. Yeah.
But when you don't know talent, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So Archie doesn't recognize talent. Archie couldn't coach. Archie couldn't recruit. So Archie was a problem, and it landed Indiana in the worst place it has been in basketball ever. And that's just how it is. But you're away from that. That's gone. And now you've got a group. They've got a great group of recruiters on that staff.
Kenny Hunter and Yasir, I think, are both high-level recruiters.
And Brian Walsh is quickly being recognized as a up-and-coming, hard-ass worker who kids seem to like. So they're solid across the board in recruiting. And then you bring in Mike Woodson, who is just a good old happy, affable guy with tons of years of NBA experience and contacts. And that just kind of puts the cherry on top. They've got a great recruiting deal going now. They didn't have that before.
My guess is that Mike is probably the closer. It's like you kind of bring Mike in to kind of,
it is.
And he comes in and he sells the deal for you at the end when you bring him to campus. And
look what you had before. Tom, what's his name? The former Ostrom and Archie.
Yeah.
What are they selling? Vacuums? Tom Ostrom never even played the game. He's Archie's buddy. It was the goofiest freaking thing in the history of the world.
Yeah.
But so your question though, Indiana will be a national recruiting program without question. I think that they are going to continue just like they are right now, getting the best players, period, no matter if they're coming from Montverde Academy, if they're coming from Texas, wherever. Tamar Bates, he's not an Indiana kid.
I do think it's important, though, for these kids like Tamar, like you mentioned, Hood Shafino and Malik Renault to have good experiences here, to win here, to develop into good players here, because that's how you sustain it, I think. You know what I mean? You can't have them come here. You can't have them come here and flop. They have to produce. They have to do well.
Well, you got to win.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And if that does not happen, then you're going to find yourself
that goes without saying to me. Of course, you have to win.
Yeah.
But if you have the top talent and good coaching, you're going to win.
It should happen.
You look at Kentucky. Well, they had the top talent year after year. They won games, but they couldn't win the big prize.
Well, Anthony Davis the 1 year, yeah.
That's because that's what happens when you don't have coaching.
Yeah.
When you just try to out-talent people. Well, the talent's good, but they still need to be directed and led. And
yeah. Well, I mean, Cal had that run where they got to the Final Four 4 out of 5 years, and they only won it once. And then it quickly, I think once Duke started getting the better classes, then.
But he had the number one recruiting class for like 10 years in a row.
Yeah, pretty much, but I thought Duke kind of surpassed that right from 2015 to 2019.
Well, they caught up with them and changed that, and they had the coaching. And so look what happened.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, Coach K's last national title was 2015, though. There were some, and like I said, from 2016 to 2022, right now, it's been pretty much Jay Wright and Bill Self and Tony Bennett won the national title.
Am I correct in saying that Kentucky has won one that, and I know that Indiana hasn't won since '87, so this is nothing to do with Indiana. I get sick and tired when I say something about somebody else. People want to throw Indiana at me. I don't care. I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm approaching this as the reporter, but Kentucky has won one national championship in 30 years?
Well, a little less than because they won in 96 and 98. So
okay, so 98.
96, 98, and 2012. So you've got 3 national championships.
So 25.
Kentucky's won 3 national titles since Indiana won their last one in 87.
But they've won one in the last 25 years.
The last 20 years, yeah. 25. Well, 98 to 2022, 24 years, yeah.
Okay. And during that period, though, how many times did they have the number one recruiting class? Probably half of that time.
Yep.
Okay. So you've had half that time you've had the number one recruiting class, but nothing really to show for it. I mean, one national championship, man.
Yeah, in 24 years, the national championship, but a lot more Final Fours, Elite Eight, Sweet 16s in Indiana in that span.
Yeah, not hard to win 4 games when you got all that talent, but it's hard to win 6, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, no question, but I mean, I think getting the Final Four. Well, when you have that talent, it is, you know what I mean, and you're the top seed, and your first 2 games are gimme games. I'll give you that.
What's coming up this week for you, man? What you got going?
Well, yeah, probably some more auto racing coverage. A little something on.
Look at you, Mr. Racing. All of a sudden, you gonna pick up NASCAR?
I'm gonna try to get Brendan Sorsby this week, the kid from Texas.
Hey, what about NASCAR? Are you gonna be doing any NASCAR?
I don't know if we're doing any NASCAR. Maybe the Brickyard, but we'll see.
But do you know that NASCAR is 5 times more popular on television than either IndyCar or F1?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just doing basically the events here. I'm not doing anything, nationally.
Well,
maybe
I know,
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying you seem like you're getting into the racing thing. So I was.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I was in Florida. I remember Daytona and all that stuff, and
all that stuff.
Yeah,
all that stuff. Well, I'm looking forward to the Brickyard. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the Indianapolis 500, which will be sooner. So we've got that going on, which is nice. But we've got lots of information coming soon, probably, like Chronic said, within the next week or so. The Combine has begun today. Indy 500 practice has begun today. Lots of stuff happened today, man.
Yeah, and so this will be it'll be an interesting week for Trace Jackson Davis and for Indiana fans who will be biting their nails and hoping that he comes back. But we'll see. We'll see how things go this week.
The All-Star race for NASCAR this weekend at Texas, apparently. So lots going on. Yeah, looking forward to that, man. Looking forward to enjoying some nice weather, getting out a little bit. You had your one-on-one with Tom Allen. How did that go?
Wonderful. Like I said, story is up. If you want to read it, it's on my Twitter account. A lot of good information and a lot of thoughts on him about the future. And he, I didn't have this in my story. He talked a lot about NIL too, and about, I'm saving that for a series, but I think he's a little frustrated, like most coaches are, with like the lack of uniformity of what's going on and the fact that it's, there's no real consistency in it. And a lot of these coaches are relying on their state laws, and with laws being different from state to state, it's creating situations where, some coaches maybe are able to get players that aren't, other coaches aren't able to get.
Has that not always been the case, brother? That is never going to change.
Yep.
It is what it is. Man, it has been a spectacular day. As always, big thanks to Chronic Hoosier.
Oh, you know what else tonight? NBA draft lottery, too. Just got an email from the Pacers. I guess, they're going to be in the lottery, so I'll be interested to see where they end up. That's
right. They find out where they're going to pick, so we'll know that tomorrow. I think the highest they can get is 5. That's what Kristen already told us last week, I believe, right?
Yep.
So
will Jaden Ivey be there with the 5th overall pick?
Who cares? He is not. I think that is so an overrated pick. Chet Holmgren is the best pick to me. But
Jabari Smith from Auburn, too, is pretty good.
We'll see how it goes. That's all tonight. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow to talk about it and to do it all again. Appreciate Chronic Hoosier and K-Bro, Kevin Brockway. Hey, and most importantly, thanks to you guys. Without you, we have no reason to be here, and we are so appreciative of you. But if you would really do us a favor and if you're listening on Facebook, go to, or YouTube rather, hit the subscribe and like button. It is a tremendous help. Give Kevin a follow at Kevin Brockway G1, and I'm at Jim Coyle ISB. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again. Thanks so much to John, the producer. And until tomorrow, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.